Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. I hope everybody's having a great day. I got a great video for you guys, kind of. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a recent comment that I had received on why I would sell my silver. Why I would sell some of my silver, however you want to word it. It was basically, I think, brought up because somebody had picked up in a video that, yes, I do sell silver. I think it's important that I get the lowest price that I can get. And in a lot of cases, I end up parting out a portion of what I pick up. That way I can get a lower price. So I'm kind of going to talk a little bit about that today. Why there are scenarios where you may want to sell your silver and it could benefit you big time. And so we're going to talk about that. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out. And leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you've ever sold some of your silver or gold, would you consider selling a little of your silver and gold to get a better deal on the next one or to get more in your inventory afterwards? Also, if you enjoyed today's video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And a special thank you to all of our members of the channel. Every month we do a special event where you have a shot at winning a free ounce of silver. And we're going to be doing that here pretty soon. There's only 8 days left, I think, 7 days left in the month. And we'll be running that. We'll be doing that live. I expect it will probably be Friday night or Saturday night is when we're going to do it. I usually do it at the end of the month, but sometimes it comes at the beginning of the month. It varies, but it is coming up very shortly, and I'm hoping to get a package in with a really awesome prize. So this prize is going to be silver, an ounce of silver, but it might be a collectible ounce of silver. On top of that, it all depends how things play out and if that package comes up, because I did put a couple of big orders in, and that's kind of the way I have to do it in order to get the best deal. You have negotiating power when you put in a bigger order. You kind of have a little bit of a ability to ask them if they can do any better. And in a lot of cases, even your big bullion companies like JM Bullion or AppMax or whoever, when you're looking at their website, they have one price for, like 1 to 9 ounces. Then they have another price for like 10 to 50 ounces. Then they have another price from 50 to 100. And then anything over 100 has another one. And in some cases, I even see amazing deals if you're willing to buy a 500-ounce monster box. Well, here's the thing. I mean, some of y'all know I'm retired military. I live essentially under my means, or within my means, I guess you can say. And I do like to put in large orders for silver. Why? Because it gets me the best deal. Now, unfortunately, I can't always afford to keep all those ounces. So if all of a sudden I'm picking up a 100-ounce lot, I know I can't afford that 100-ounce lot. And I really might even know that, hey, I only need 40 ounces. I only want 40 of these, but if I go up to 100, I'm going to get a better deal. So a lot of times I will put in the order for, say, 100. I actually just picked up 100 ounces the other day at $35 an ounce, which some people might say that's high. Some people might say that's low. Who knows what everybody's opinion out there is. But at $35 an ounce, I thought that was a good deal. But I had to get 100 of them. And I was like, man, I really don't have the money right now to grab 100 after I just put in some big orders. I did get my tax return. I said, you can afford it, but you're going to have to let go of some of them. Now, why would I sell some? Because if you don't have the money to get the 100, you kind of can order the 100 if you know people that will take them off your hands. Because I have a lot of friends that I have educated on precious metals, and now they look for deals. But here's the thing. Some of these people own businesses. Some of them offer services, whatever the case may be. Let's just hypothetically say one of my buddies is a car detailer, and I tell him, hey, I know you're not buying a ton of stuff, but how about I give you 5 or 10 ounces at a super low spot deal, or even cheaper maybe if you give me a deal on a car detail. Now, generally, I'm not a big fan of car details because it just gets dirty quick anyway. And I really am low key when it comes to that kind of stuff. It doesn't bother me in the least if my truck's a little dirty, as long as it gets me from point A to point B. But yeah, I will part out some of the stuff that I pick up and sell it. And that way I can get the lower price on my stuff. I don't make any money necessarily on it, but I increase my quality of life somehow. If all of a sudden someone's trading me, saying, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a couple meals at my restaurant, and if you give me them at your price. Okay. Now, why would they do that? So there's a couple reasons why this would entice people. Because if they were to do it, they may not want to buy 100 ounces. They're also probably not going to be the type that are going to want to go out and buy 100 ounces and try to wheel and deal with people to get rid of some of the ones they already bought. And they're not going to be able to take them like to a pawn shop and get anywhere near even the good deal that you get if you buy 100 or so. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. Now, there's a lot of other reasons that other people do it. I've actually known some people that they'll pick up like 100-ounce lot, and then they'll try to break them down and flip stuff. A lot of flipping, trading, hey, this is a collectible ounce. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 3 of these for 4 of those. And essentially, they can do that. Because eventually, sometimes coin shops and companies will get a really cool coin in, but they ended up having to buy a lot of them. And their lot is not like our lot, where our lot might be 100 ounces. Their lot might be, you have to buy 2 or 3 monster boxes. They want to hurry up and recoup part of that money. So therefore, they're going to want to sell some of them right off the bat low, get a lot of their money back, and then the extras, that's their profit. And I've actually talked to people that have done this strategy. You guys know I used to have a good friend that was actually in the metals business. He actually would call people up and essentially try to sell them different types of coins. He was with a really big bullion company. Some of y'all know I did talk about that company in the past when he was with them, because he was a good friend of mine and he gave us good deals. And so obviously it benefited everybody to do that. So when I see a comment that's like, hey, I don't know why you would want to sell your silver. Silver's going to go a whole lot higher. I mean, I live this. You guys have to understand, for how much dedication I have into precious metals, I spend probably 8 hours a day reading and watching different broadcasts about silver. And yes, that's YouTube videos included. And a lot of that stuff is dry. It's just, when you start really listening to these bank meetings and stuff, a lot of that, the Fed meetings, these things are dry information. However, everything to me is pointing to a higher silver price. And I don't mean higher by just $1. I mean a lot higher. And I've done videos where I've talked about my predictions and where I think it's going to go. And I know a lot of YouTubers, it seems like every video that comes out is $1,000 silver, $10,000 silver, $1 million gold. And it's easy to get caught up in these high numbers and want to listen to them, and that's why those videos like that get such huge amount of clicks. And I've done as a test, and I'll start off right off as soon as the video starts, no, I don't think silver is going to get to that number, but this is why I wanted to talk about it, and I'll show the videos that get high clicks. And here's the thing though, a lot of people in the stacking community, they get tired of hearing how next week, next month, we're going to see silver. It's like nonstop. This week, we're hearing next week silver is going to be $1,000 an ounce. And then next week comes around and nothing happens. And then we're hearing, next week is going to be $1,000 ounce. And then if it ever does hit that $1,000 ounce, you're going to have these people saying, I told you so in this video on this day, only days before I told you it was going to go to $1,000 an ounce. Now, do I think silver could someday go to $1,000 an ounce? This is where a lot of people get confused. If the dollar that we use goes to zero, it is essentially worthless. Therefore, if you've got a lot of dollars, how many worthless dollars would you give away to get an ounce of silver? There would be no limit. That's why silver went to millions of dollars in Venezuela. Because if you're using the old currency that became worthless, it had no value. It was like toilet paper. People were throwing it in the streets. Dumpsters just full of these dollars. Because at the end of the day, they didn't have any value. Now, usually what happens is when they do that, they'll roll out some new currency that will be worth, maybe 100 of those for one of these. And then someone will say, oh, yeah, but see, silver's not technically $1,000. It's only, $20 now. And it might be $20 of the new currency. The new currency that you just had to trade in 100 to 1, which makes it $2,000 in the old currency. And once people realize that, then they start to understand there's no limit to how high precious metals can go. Now, when people tell me, yeah, but the world is going to be a very bad place. Well, yes, of course. If any country's currency collapses, their currency in that country is going to be worthless, and that country is probably going to be up in riots, in chaos. And if anybody don't think that's possible, you don't even have to look in the news very far to really have seen this. I mean, we've done videos on this happening in different countries. Obviously, Venezuela is the most well-known, but it's not just Venezuela. There's been a lot of different countries. And so that's why I think eventually we will see a huge higher price on the price of silver. And when that happens, you have to understand, if you've got it, you've got it. And when it starts really breaking down and people see it, do you think that these bullion companies are going to be, oh, hey, this person put in the order 2 days before, we haven't sent it yet, what do you want to do? They're going to cancel your order. Most likely your order will be canceled. You know why? Because all of a sudden silver just went up $100. You think they're going to honor it? A lot of people, I'm not saying every company out there will do that. I'm just saying there's a lot of risk. And that's why I always tell people it's important you get your silver now. And if you have to buy extra ounces and then trade some off to other people, buy in a group, a community group, a little, coin club, whatever you want to call it, then that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having to give up a few of your ounces, especially if at the end of the week you've acquired more ounces than the week before. Now, would I ever want to sell my entire collection? Absolutely not. Would I ever want to get rid of it? No. I mean, the only way I would get rid of a large portion of my collection is if all of a sudden some great deal on a piece of land that I wanted popped up, or a vehicle that I wanted, something that I like, then it might be worth it. I actually had someone knows my son is actually looking for a new vehicle right now, and someone that's in my group said, hey, I'd be willing to trade you this vehicle for possibly coins. I'd have to get it okayed and stuff. And I said, that's a possibility. I said, what kind of numbers, though, are you looking at? And I said, does the AC work? Is it a good? He said, it's a great running car. It needs cosmetic work. It's not the prettiest, but the AC works great. Don't have any troubles with it. And at the end of the day, I'm more for a good, dependable vehicle. And I'm against having to borrow money from the bank if I can avoid it. Now, someone might make the argument, because I do get a lot of these, I'm going to say naysayers for a minute. I find that naysayers want to, if they can't target the product being gold or silver, if they can't diss you enough or beat it down, and you just come up with more information that just puts their argument or lack of argument to shame, sometimes they want to target you a different way. Sometimes they just want to hit that thumbs down on the video, but they don't understand. Even a thumbs down on the video is still a action. Actions promote YouTube videos. Even if there's 1,000 comments on the video and it's just arguing back and forth about gold and silver, that's an action. And so it promotes your video even more. So it doesn't bother me on that note either. But then I find that sometimes people will try to break down your character, or they'll try to belittle your strategy, whether it's like only a fool would buy precious metals with a credit card. Maybe that's the case. If you don't know how to manage your credit, for me, I have no problem buying on credit card, and when the bill comes in, I pay it. I pay no extra fee. In fact, I get 1% back on my money. And some might say that, yes, you pay extra. You do pay extra for that. However, you have to understand, not everybody charges that extra. Yes, some companies do. The big bullion companies, obviously, they charge that extra. But not every company charges extra because you paid with a credit card or you paid with PayPal or whatever the case may be. Because it's just built in. They built it in, they absorb it, they know they get to write it off at the end of the year as an expense. And you don't see the, if I send you a check price and if I pay you with a credit card price. Now, yes, big bullion companies, like I said, they show you in black and white. If you pay with a check, you pay this price. If you pay with PayPal, you pay this price. If you pay with a credit card, you pay this price, or whatever the case may be. So I find it interesting. Not every strategy is going to work for everybody. You know, if you're good with your money and you know how to charge something on your credit card and pay it when it comes due, then it's a good deal. Apologize for a quick minute. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. I don't know. My dog, sometimes he has a bad dream and he's like sitting right by my feet. He'll have a bad dream and he'll just kind of start like whining in his sleep, and I always feel bad when he does that, so I always try to wake him up. So I think people have to understand that not every strategy is the same for everybody. You know, if you're just the type of guy that, hey, you go to work every day, you're spending all your time going to work, getting your job done, and then come home, go to bed. I've lived that life. When I was working 98 hours a week, I had people like, dude, you work 14 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, if you're working for like the refineries, the oil companies, they want to get stuff done. They understand how much money is at stake when stuff goes down. And I didn't have time to look for the best deals. I didn't have time to research this stuff. If you own your own company, you're putting in the hours. You don't have the time to research this stuff. And so you just take whatever. I mean, that's why when I first started stacking, I was paying way more than I really should have been paying. And, there are options. And that's where, sometimes when you find people, I'll be honest, someone like me, it is a great opportunity. Now, I don't ship stuff. These are people that are in my little circle of friends, family, whatever the case may be, that are picking up ounces. And I'm not trying to make anything. I'm just trying to go with the flow and get the best deal. At the end of the day, the best deal for myself. However, by spreading that deal out, we as a whole get a bigger and better deal. And some might view that as selling, but as long as you're accumulating more ounces each month, it benefits you. Each week, it benefits you. A time is going to come where we're going to see the price of precious metals skyrocket. And I know a lot of people believe we're already seeing that with gold. I don't think we are seeing that yet with gold. And silver, I mean, to me is really just a joke, because the price on silver is just way undervalued, in my opinion. And even some of the big gold people, I'll say Peter Schiff first of all, are starting to speak out and say, you know what, maybe silver's a better deal right now. And there are a lot of people that trust in gold because they've been stacking gold too, and they're seeing that their silver has just been manipulated, and they feel like the manipulation can never end. But a time will come. For those of you that don't know what the ape is, right here on this video, it's part of the silver Wall Street Silver Group. I had someone ask me that one day. What's up with the ape? A lot of times you use like a little ape on your thumbnails, and that's why I do it. You can see him there, and then periodically he's hidden. There's one right there. I'll hide him in the little thumbnails, kind of like the Where's Waldo. Needless to say, silver and gold are going to go up. It's just a matter of time, and gold is already going up. And I understand people they felt the jumps. It seems like it's a lot of money, but what people aren't fully understanding is based on percentage, silver is already doing better. And a lot of that has to do with when gold goes up, silver really rockets up. If all of a sudden, though, tomorrow we seen gold come all the way down to like $2,000, I really firmly believe that silver would just get absolutely tanked. And I know some people don't believe that's possible. You would probably see the gold to silver ratio at that point, because silver would fall so hard, you would probably see the ratio like 110 to 1. And anybody that thinks that's not possible, we've actually seen 125 to 1, which was pretty insane. At that point, should have been the sign. Looking back is always easier. That should have been when I dumped every gold coin I had to end up selling everything. Even if I had to sell it and pick up silver, that was an opportunity. And now we're at 91, 92, and a lot of that is because of the recent beatdown. Whenever gold and silver comes down, silver comes down harder. But whenever gold and silver goes up, silver goes up faster. And that's the opportunity right there. So, the idea that the manipulation can last forever, it can last forever, I don't think that's possible. I think we are about ready to see the manipulation break. They're going to have to give in when they start running out of silver, when they can't make delivery. That's where the problems come in. How are they going to recoup that? They'll be struggling. They will be struggling. They'll end up having to most likely skyrocket the price to, let's just say, $50, $60. There will be a certain amount of selling, and then they'll pull the price back. And when they do that, there's going to be a lot of people that will sell. And when the price pulls back, those people are going to be bragging. I sold at 50 or 60, and now we're back down to 40. Y'all are fools. You should have gotten out. And then all of a sudden, the fall slows down at 40, 38, 37, and then all of a sudden, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70. And anybody that thinks that can't happen only has to look at like what the charts have been doing. What we see on the charts. If the people that are buying up silver would just nonstop start buying and keep buying and not allow it to breathe, they would be fighting themselves. They would essentially be running the price up on the product that they're buying. People don't understand the advantage of keeping secret what you're doing. It is a huge advantage. If you have one coin shop in your town and you could essentially buy him out, if you were to buy him out, the next time he gets silver, it will be more expensive. If you're going in there every day and you're wiping him out, each time it will get more expensive. But if you're slowly buying, and I know none of us are probably like wiping out coin stores. This is just an example because you have to understand the coin store in this case would be like the COMEX. And the silver and gold would be like the elites, like JP Morgan, like governments, that are trying to stack as much as they can. That's why you really, when you look at these, you see, like we'll say right here, it starts climbing up and then you see this big drawback, that's because a lot of people thought, oh my word, $20 silver, that's insane. Let's sell everything, and then we can laugh at people. And then as it comes down, yeah, weak hands were laughing until it shot right back up, and then they couldn't get any. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people believe this $50 silver is a pipe dream, and because it hit $50 silver twice up here, if it ever hit it again, they would want to get out real quick. There will be a lot of people that will get out at $50 because they're going to think that it's just going to be a repeat. The thing is, with the amount of money that's in there, these blips get bigger and bigger over time. I mean, look at the thickness and the height that this went versus here. Yes, I mean, what happened here that made it plunge down? Obviously, the big bank bailouts, a lot of that had to do with it, and that's what drove the price down. However, I mean, over here, I'm convinced that, some people will say it was the Hunt brothers. Some people will say it was the creation of being able to short silver. And what's going to be the excuse for the next one? Who knows? I mean, we could see silver and gold spike like crazy, and a lot of people will just miss the opportunity altogether. So, and when I talk about silver going up or gold going up, I'm referencing both metals. Know that I agree. Both metals are going to go up. And someone out there might say, oh, well, what about palladium? What about platinum? What about copper? All metals are strategic in their own way. They're all going to go up. And think about industrial demand for copper, nickel. That stuff's going to go up too. Are we going to see tomorrow copper be equal to gold? No, I don't think that. I don't even think we'll see silver be equal to gold in our lifetime. But you know what? I'm happy if silver and gold just keep going up at the rate they've been going up. I'm not greedy. I mean, if my $33 investment today turned into $66 at this time next year, I'm going to be very happy with that results. And then someone is going to be unhappy, and they're going to say, you said it was going to go to the moon. What do people want? If you want instant gratification and you think you're going to be rich overnight because maybe Bitcoin has done really well, I mean, okay, maybe. But what is Bitcoin doing now? I mean, yeah, up 273 points the other day. Let's see what it's at right this minute, though, because I didn't even refresh these windows because I didn't plan on going into them. Right here, this was the other day, 84,400. Let's just refresh it. Okay, so it's still pretty much right around 84. It was 84.4, now it's 84.2. So it's actually down a little bit, even though when you look at this, some might be like, no, technically it's up. No, it's not really up. It went down and then it jumped back up. I mean, and then they get to say, oh, look, Bitcoin up 0.5% today. According to what? From yesterday? No, it's not exactly how that works. Because when you zoom out and you start looking at year to date, what do you see? You pretty much see a $9,000 drop. And it was even worse because it was a lot higher at its peak when we were up to 100 and I don't even know if this will even show the peak on here. Yeah, this says 106, but it was up to like 109. So if I could zoom in, I'd be able to show you that. But, people just, you're not going to get rich quick overnight. And here's the thing. Silver and gold, it's not just the fact that it's going up in value. It's also an insurance policy. What do I mean by that? If things did get ugly, you could barter your silver for the items that you need if something major happened. If the banks went down and you couldn't go to the ATM because the grid's down or something. There's a lot of things that could play out that put silver in the driver's seat. I had a long conversation with someone the other day about how, silver can be bartered for food, for bread, for chickens, for ducks, whatever the case may be. And someone said, why would I want your silver? I can't eat it or whatever. The truth of the matter is, yeah, you may not be able to eat it, but there's a lot of other things you can't eat. And when things get back on track, what do you think they're going to want? People are going to value silver as money. And if something bad happens to the dollar, they're definitely not going to want paper when they see their, life savings pretty much all go down the drain instantly. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I can't even believe it went 29 minutes. It was supposed to be like a 5 or 10 minute quickie. But I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do hope you hit that thumbs up button for me. And check out some of these other great videos. That's what I was kind of showing you as I was scrolling through. There's a lot of great videos here. And it's the weekend. I would actually recommend, if it was me, hit this shorts tab right here and check out the short videos, because these things are quick. As you're watching them, hit the thumbs up button. Go right through, comb right through them, hit the thumbs up button on each one as you watch it. Get caught up, and a lot of good information for people. I had a comment the other day that they said, I prefer short videos. These things are perfect. It's one good, quick video, and I mean, none of them are more than a minute long, I don't think. So a lot of good information in them. Thank you all for watching. Hit that subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys again next time on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.